Welcome everyone to another video, and today we're going to take a look at an all shadow team that is going to town in the Great League with the lead of Shadow Jumpluff, the #1 ranked Pokemon in the Great League currently, with Fairy Wind, Aerial Ace as well as Acrobatics, and we will have Shadow Feraligatr as our safe swap with Shadow Claw, Hydro Cannon and Ice Beam, and we have the Shadow Quagsire in the back with Mud Shot, Mud Bomb as well as Stone Edge. So I intentionally made this Shadow all Shadow team because for me Gastrodon doesn't necessarily have the firepower or the moves to take out a flying type, and that's why I went with the Quagsire instead, who has access to that Stone Edge for those flying types or even bug types for that matter that Jumpluff might not necessarily have the time or the health to take out in the early game. So just look at that Quagsire. I mean, like, who can actually be intimidated by that Quagsire? But unknown to most battlers that I face, at least, Quagsire does deal a lot of damage, especially in that shadow form. So going on to the first game here, we have a Shadow Drapion in the lead. So for this team, we generally want to go into our Shadow Feraligatr as our safe swap to beat out the grass type such as this Ferrothorn. And as you can see here, Ice Beam does about 50% of its health, and the Shadow Claw is chunking this Ferrothorn. The reason why I go for a Shadow Feraligatr instead of a normal Feraligatr, as you can see here, the Shadow Feraligatr will be able to farm the Ferrothorn all the way down before they get to that second power whip, sorry. So yeah, so here we are able to flip this matchup, and Feraligatr is able to win versus two Pokemon with just one shield, which is amazing because now we have the Jumpluff here versus the Drapion. At this moment we don't care as much about our Jumpluff because we just want to take out that last shield of theirs, and here we have the Quagsire to finish the game. And here, and the reason why I go for Mud Bomb as opposed to Aqua Tail, well, I mean, it's a preference. I mean, right now I have a Shadow Quagsire with Mud Bomb. I don't have one yet with Aqua Tail, and another reason for that is also for that lead matchup right there that you just seen, which is Jelllicent. Mud Bomb at least does neutral damage, whereas Aqua Tail does resisted damage. And during this matchup, we try to stay in with the Jumpluff versus the Cradily safe swap, just to make sure that they throw the Rock Tomb first on the Jumpluff before we swap into our Shadow Feraligatr, because if possible, we want our Shadow Feraligatr to not have the debuff to go against the Cradily, so that we can launch a full powered Ice Beam to take it out. So as you can see here, they have a Jumpluff in the back as a last Pokemon, which is an ABB team with 1 water and 2 grass types in the back, which is becoming more frequent nowadays. And here we are able to beat them with a Aerial Ace and go and launch the Acrobatics to almost take the Jumpluff out, and we immediately swap into our Quagsire for no apparent reason whatsoever other than to flex, and we will be able to take him out with the Mud Bomb and to take the Jelllicent out as well. So another reason, and we tend to not care as much about Jumpluff's second move besides Aerial Ace, because we want of course you can go for the Energy Ball to take down the water types that you might see in the meta, such as the Jelllicent just now. However, I feel like Acrobatics does do the job even better, and it does give us quite a valuable nuke option just in case. So in this third battle, we have a Malamar lead and they swap into a Cradily again. So same principle as the game before. We make sure our Jumpluff gets debuff first before we swap into our Feraligatr. And here our Feraligatr has done its job to take out the Cradily, and we will have our Jumpluff here to seal the deal. Unfortunately, it is going to be caught by the Clodsire, and Clodsire has nothing else to do here. Clodsire will have to take 2 charge moves to take out our Quagsire, and it will not have time or the energy to take us out. Mud Bomb is just a lot more spammier as compared to their Earthquakes. Earthquake, I think, is about 65 energy, so we are able to reach 3 Mud Bombs before they are able to reach 2 Earthquakes. And here in the 4th game, we will be meeting up with a Feraligatr. So a Feraligatr is an iffy matchup, especially if they bait. Unfortunately for them, they did not bait, and here we are able to go for a bait of our own, and we also fail in this respect because they did not shield the bait, but they did shield the second Aerial Ace, and we are going to catch the second Ice Beam on our Feraligatr. And at this moment, I'm pretty sure they are right now contemplating what to swap into, and decided to swap into their Forretress, who has access to Volt Switch, which will be super effective against our Feraligatr. Unfortunately, this, as you can see here, the Shadow Claws with that 1 Hydro Cannon does chip it into red health. And we immediately come into our Quagsire to soak up all these charge moves that it will throw. I did contemplate going into a Jumpluff, but I was afraid that they would maybe throw a Rock Tomb against Jumpluff, but even when I go against a Quagsire, I was afraid that they would throw an Earthquake in that case, but it turned out to be fairly good. So in this last match, they will bring a Hakamo-o in the lead with a Golisopod as a safe swap, and the technique here for me is just to go for an Aerial Ace to chip down the Golisopod, and then swap out to the Feraligatr to farm it down, and we have enough time to go for the Ice Beam against the Hakamo-o to go back to 1 shield each, but they instead decided to let go of the Hakamo-o and immediately swap to their Ferrothorn to snipe our Feraligatr, which is fine because that means they will be switch locked while we are not, and here is the reason why that matters, because we are able to soak up the thunder on the Quagsire, and of course we had to let go of our Quagsire here, but the Quagsire has done its job to take up all of the energy that the Ferrothorn has, and the Ferrothorn will go down from this damage. Even 1 thunder will not be enough, 2 is most probably what it needs, and Hakamo-o being low health with Ferrothorn will not be enough. So this all Shadow team for me is super good, especially if you have the resources to use it. If you don't, normal variants of it could work, maybe it will not work as well as the Shadow variants. So let me know what you think of this team, and that is all for me for this video, and I'll see you in the next one.